Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Mother's Day interview around mental illness and substance use disorders for May is Mental Health Awareness Month. My name is Joni Schwager. I'm the Executive Director of the Staunton Farm Foundation. Staunton Farm gives grants in 10 counties in southwestern Pennsylvania, strictly around the issues addressing mental illness and substance use disorders. Last year at this time, we had planned events to occur all over the city and region. But as we all have experienced, COVID has put plans on hold. After a year of living in pandemic conditions, many individuals have experienced mental health conditions and substance use disorders, such as depression, anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorders, agoraphobia, and increased use of drugs and alcohol. But behavioral health is an illness that spans a continuum. Some are severe, persistent, and some situational. Unfortunately, the media portrays the 5 to 7% of those of us with the most serious mental illnesses, such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, major depression, and overdoses in a very negative light. But we believe talking about it will eliminate stigma and encourage others to do the same. So we've created this video series to let people know that they are not alone. We interviewed individuals from our region to discuss stigma and their own personal experiences of mental health and substance use by helping us to smash stigma and bust myths around these issues. If it were not for the willingness and bravery of those community members, this series would not exist. It is their voices and work that make the community more inclusive and help reduce stigma around mental health and substance use. So I want to thank everyone who has participated today. We're extremely grateful for your voice, perspective, and experiences. I am Joni Schwager, as I said. I am a middle to older aged cisgendered female. I have not colored my hair since the beginning of the pandemic. So I am mostly gray, but also have some brown hair. I am sitting in my living room. There's a chair behind me. There are 2 paintings on the walls, and our walls are neutral color. So today I am delighted to be here on Mother's Day with my daughter, Emily Schwager. So Emily, I'm so happy that you were willing to do this interview with me, partly because I know that you just got off 3 days of 12-hour shifts at work.
3 nights.
3 nights. So welcome, 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 and thank you for doing this in the morning.
Of course.
So, hi. So what would you like people to know about you?
Well, first, I'll just say I'm in my mid-20s. I'm wearing big round glasses. I have dyed my hair since the pandemic. You were there with me. It's a pretty intense pink shade at the moment. I have bangs as well. And I'm sitting in my car in my scrubs just to describe, kind of set the scene. What I want people to know about me: I'm a nurse. I work on a mother-baby unit. I really care about women's health. I'm also a poet. I went to CAPA, which is in Pittsburgh, as a creative and performing arts high school, and studied writing. I'm also an activist and have been involved in different types of organizing throughout my life. I'm currently involved in Reclaim Philadelphia. They're a really great organization. And oh my gosh, what's a fun fact about me? Another thing I want people to know. I live in Philly, which makes you sad. I'm still in PA though, Keystone State.
Well, at least we have things like Zoom and FaceTime.
And surprise visits when I'm in town.
And surprise visits. You have been known to surprise us.
Yeah.
So tell me, how do you define stigma?
Oh, did I just lose you? Oh, there we go. Okay.
We're good.
Gosh, okay. I think I would define stigma as a negative weight that is added to a concept that is false, typically, that changes the way people perceive that thing, that situation.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So how has mental health and addiction and stigma impacted you or the people in your life or the people that you work with?
Well, I mean, I'd first just say I've been privileged to be able to work in different environments. I did my clinical at the Philly prison and was able to see a lot of the different ways that stigma affects people's lives, just by prisons existing, in fact, and the fact that people are still criminalized and imprisoned for substance abuse. I personally think that prison shouldn't exist. But a way that I think stigma has affected me personally is I was recently diagnosed with a learning disability, and I've been kind of encouraged by a lot of people not to talk about it a lot, especially while in school and starting my job. And it's something that I think should be talked about. I'm not ashamed that I have a learning disability. I went, I got a higher education. I went to one of the best nursing schools. Not that status should matter, but I went to higher education. I worked my butt off. I throw myself at anything that I can, because I know that sometimes it takes me a little bit harder to grasp it, but once I grasp it, I got it really good. And I'm not ashamed that I take a little bit longer than other people. In fact, I think it's a plus, because I think I am able to build other things like empathy and better relationships with people, even though other things might take me a little bit longer.
Great. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. So there's a lot of talk about resilience these days. So resilience is defined as the process of adapting well in the face of adversity. And resilient people are more likely to bounce back when difficult situations occur. So what does resiliency mean to you?
I think that people typically think about resiliency and say that it means you have to be strong, or you have to like put up with bad things, or that you can and you should. I think resiliency can be soft and can mean a lot of other things. It doesn't mean that it's easy to get back up every time, and it doesn't mean that you're necessarily getting back up alone, if that kind of makes sense. I think that resiliency means reaching out to people when you need help, because you know yourself and you know that you need that support. I think resiliency also looks like taking a long time to get back on the road. Resiliency isn't always something that's like quick and easy and fast. It's hard work, but I think it can look like a lot of different things. And one of the biggest of those is I think asking for help when you know that you need it, and being willing to accept that help as well.
Yeah.
Because typically we don't get through life alone. It really does take a village.
Yes, yes, it does. So I wonder, we're coming to the end of our interview, if you had any final thoughts or other things, anything else that you want people to know.
Well, gosh, I just hope that I didn't sound like my brain was mush, because I was just at work for 36 hours. But, you know, I guess I would just say to people, embrace your softness and embrace your differences, um, and oh no, it's the end of the call and now I'm like blanking out.
That's okay.
Happy
That's
Mother's
all right.
Day. That's what
Happy
my final
Mother's
thought is.
Day.
Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Happy
Women are the
Mother's Day.
best. I love women's health. Women are resilient. And happy Mother's Day, especially to you, Mom.
Thank you, Emily. And I want to
Of course.
thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I know, not along with just having worked, you also have about an hour commute. So please, as your mother, go home, go into your apartment, have breakfast,
Yeah.
go to bed, call me later. And
I
thank you
will.
so much. And everybody who joined us, thank you for being here. Please come back tomorrow. We'll have another person interviewed and talk a little bit more about mental health. Thank you.